Hello and welcome back to Saints Row 4. Time to get us some keys.
The main parts I'll need to assemble the key are the central processing unit, memory modules, and gravity inhibitors. I've located a CPU at the old Steelport Guard Armory. While you get that, I'll look around for the other stuff.
Fair enough. Hey, Johnny.
Care to tell us what this unit looks like?
Some computery tech thing. How should I know?
It's a central processing unit. It's for... You know what? I'll point it out when you get close. Jeez.
Works for me.
Listen, Kinsey. Gat and I are on site. We're not sure where to begin our search.
In one of the crates around the armory. They're welded shut, though, so use your telekinesis to pull the doors off.
I thought you knew where it was.
I do. In one of the crates around the armory.
Okay, no need to get touchy.
Touchy is her middle name, mate.
That's
UFO!
true.
There it is! Just be careful with it, alright?
Handle with care, John, or else.
Next, head to the nearby tower. That's where the memory modules are.
Right on. I'll grab one of these assault choppers and meet you there, boss. Just don't kill everyone before I get a few shots in.
In an assault chopper, a few shots are all you need.
True. Oh, it depends on who you're dealing with.
You should be able to find generators on the floating platforms around the tower. Destroy them and take their modules.
Whoa, we're breaking pinatas now?
No, the generators are made up of a lot of different parts. We just need one thing from them, and the fastest way to get them out is to destroy them.
And that doesn't damage the module? That doesn't make any sense.
It's a simulation.
Now
She's
this
got you,
is my
Johnny.
idea of a good time.
On top again.
Oh, shit, not high enough. There we go. Where's my disintegrator gone?
All done. What's next?
Okay, the gravity inhibitors are at the dock, though it looks like they're trying to put a force field up around the area. Get moving fast before they block you out.
Yo, don't wait for me. I'll be right behind you.
Roger that.
Right behind you, kid.
I'm here, Kinsey.
Good. They've abandoned powering up the shield. Just destroy those generators and you should find the gravity inhibitors.
I call bullshit, Kinsey. These look just like the last ones. Why didn't I find gravity inhibitors in them? Shouldn't I be looking for generators that hover?
Because obviously the last generators didn't have them since they were on floating platforms.
Right, obviously. And why does this not hover?
Because they're not turned on?
She doesn't know, does she?
Well, fuck no!
I mean, leave her alone. She's doing her best in this situation. Hello, Balls of Doom.
Let's take our loot and get the help.
Yo, dog, this shit's on fire. I have to set it down somewhere.
Yo, dog. You have been gone a while. Can you keep from dying again, mate?
It's barely responding, but yeah, I think I can.
Set it down, John. Kinsey, stay online.
Right.
Hang on, right behind you, Johnny.
Damn it, I'm not gonna make it. This thing's going down.
Any landing you walk away from.
Hold on. I'm sending in Shandi to pick you guys up.
You okay, partner?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Let's not do that again.
Seems like I picked a hell of a spot to crash, though.
Boss? Johnny? You there?
We're still kicking.
I'm only a few seconds out. Don't worry, I am not letting anything happen to Johnny. To you two.
It's not that we can't handle.
Once Shandi gets there, make sure the area is clear so she can land.
Right away.
Johnny! Come on, buddy, hang on. There you go. Come on, take a shot. Take a shot.
Area's all clear.
All right, land in this thing.
Great. I'm sick of this place.
Let's roll.
What's the status of the key?
Sure thing.
Nearly built, so without power, it's really just a glorified paperweight.
So write some code and get it working.
If it was that simple, don't you think I would have done that?
Never hurts to ask.
We need compatible power sources to make it work. I'm sending Sid in there to help you with that. Try to be nice to him.
I have found a compatible power source for the key. Predictably, it is controlled by the Zane. Interference from these cells make it impossible for me to pinpoint the exact locations, but I should be able to determine the general areas of the three we need. I have marked the general location for the first power cell.
I suppose
Though
my
I am
work can
surprised
wait.
Kinsey also sent along fake Shondi to help us.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Fake Shondi?
Kinsey explained to me that Shondi had a doppelganger who hated pants and was very friendly.
Yeah, that's me. But fake? I'm standing right here.
Do not shoot the messenger. Frankly, you sound more fun than the other Shondi, and I love your hair.
Oh, thanks.
Sensors detect a cell is in this area. The closer we get to it, the more precise I can be.
Whoa, this thing's pretty handy to have around.
You have no idea. I have many uses.
You don't double as a bomb, do you?
For you, I would find a way. Cell detected.
Calm yourself down there, Sid. We don't need all that. I thought you said it was over here, Sid.
Hey, at least it's a ride.
This way? No. There we
As
are.
easy as it gets.
What are you doing?
What?
You know you jinxed us, right?
The only people who are jinxed are the Zane. This is easy.
Jesus, you said it again.
Come on, Shawnee, are you kidding me?
It is Chekhov's gun. Saying it is too easy now means something must go wrong later, or else there was no point to this conversation.
Shit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need you to tell me when we're near the next power cell.
If you do something for me,
You really want to extort me right now?
I require a date with this Shondi.
Sid, I don't think Sean...
Okay.
Wow.
What? Could be fun.
On to the next one.
We are close now. The second power cell is not far, though I am detecting fluctuations in the simulation.
I'm not Kinsey, Sid.
The Zin are altering the area in some way. I am unsure how.
Like I said, we've been jinxed.
Yeah. Wait, is that a shield generator?
Told you.
Damn it!
The shield surrounding the power cell must be disabled, in case you could not figure that out yourself.
Shawnee and I are on it.
Oh no. You created the problem. You can solve it.
Will you listen to yourself? That generator over there isn't even turned on.
That suggests the Zin are currently adding more security to the remaining cells. I believe here we only interrupted the process. Shondi is right.
Just admit what you did.
Fuck no.
The shield is down.
Absolutely not.
Only one cell left. You're really planning to go out with Sid, aren't you?
Way to change the subject and dodge responsibility for those shield generators.
What could you two possibly do that doesn't end horribly?
I know a great little pizza place in town.
I love pizza.
Perhaps a movie afterwards as well.
What's playing?
Pride and Prejudice.
Sounds a little serious, but I'll give it a whirl.
The cell is not far. Zinyak fighter ships engaging. Final power cell.
All right, let's just grab the damn thing and get out of it.
Feeling guilty?
You're really enjoying this, aren't you?
Oh yeah. Looks like Sid was right. They've got another generator up and running.
Just get it over with and say I'm cursed.
Nope.
Really?
We already knew that these would be here. I don't see much of a point.
Great. Then let's get back.
Still not helping shut those down.
Sid?
I am with Shondi on this one. Do it yourself.
We're talking about this later.
Ah, come on. Yeah?
Enemy ship approaching.
Too bad for you.
Stop that, please.
It blew up. Okay, now I'm rubbing it in.
Balls.
But there is one more cell not far from here.
Hold on. You said that was the final one.
If we had obtained it, then it obviously would have been.
You okay, boss?
Not really.
Come on, don't be such a sourpuss.
No, that's exactly what I'm gonna be.
Have it your way.
The second final power cell is in this area, and I am reading a large amount of energy output around it.
I'm assuming that's a bad thing.
Given that our current predicament is a result of your big mouth, I would guess you are correct. It is close.
This place is lit up like a Feed Dogs concert.
Sid, why is everything a target?
Because you are cursed.
That's fair.
Zinyak's fighter ships engaging.
I get not being able to use my powers on at the moment, but why can't I even interact with that? I'm just gonna destroy this one? That's fine, I'll do that. Blowing shit up is easier anyways. Ah, of course that one I can't blow up. Ah, you son of a bitch. And that should do it.
Wait! Where's the battery?
Integrated into the tank, I believe. The properties of the power cell should increase the speed, destruction, and durability of the vehicle.
Something is going my way.
However, the increase in power will also overload the tank and cause it to explode in a few minutes.
Fuck me.
If you can get to Kinsey's warehouse in time, she can set up a field which will stabilize the energy output.
At least there's a bright side, right?
So if I don't make it in time, I blow up?
Correct. Good luck. You will need it. Shondi, there is a hookah bar not far from here. Care to join me before I return to the ship?
Well, catch you later, boss. Have fun.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, they don't have to sacrifice themselves for it. It's our fault. You're the cursed one. Boop. Excuse me, gentlemen. Coming through.
I'm okay. That's the best thing you can come up with.
Are you having fun down there?
Sid left me to die, so I'll be better.
Don't worry, Sid contacted me and I set up the stabilization field. Get the tank back in one piece and you'll be fine.
I thought you'd be on my case about how important the key is.
Oh, I have that speech all prepared. Figured I'd give you a little more time before I started it.
You're showing a lot of restraint, Kinsey.
I know.
Proud of you, Kinsey. Good job. So, assumingly, if we don't hurry, she starts to give us the actual speech.
I think they realize this isn't gonna work. So I bring the tank to the warehouse. What happens next?
It'll be dismantled and the power cell will be pulled out for use on my key.
We're dismantling a super tank?
Hey, do you want to be able to kill Zinyak or don't you? Get revenge for Earth or get a tank? Your choice.
Revenge for Earth.
Then quit your bitching.
It's all yours, Kinsey.
Oh, good.
I'm slowly just gonna turn it away, actually. Hello. Oh shit.
Ben said he'd name me as a special advisor in his new book. How exciting!
So here's what we're gonna go back to the ship. We're gonna find an entrance back to the ship. I'm gonna leave the finale for a different episode. I'm gonna let it just do it all in one go. So what we're gonna do instead to wrap this video up is go back to the ship and do the quest things, or the text log things that were collectibles in this game. So let's go through the audio logs.
From an early age, my father instilled a pride and patriotism in me that carried me far in life. I dedicated myself to serving the crown. I don't regret it, though it's not been without its challenges. One of those challenges was working with the Saints in taking down Cyrus Temple. When Matt Miller came on as my field coordinator, he had a lot of opinions about the 3rd Street Saints. I've always liked Matt, but I admit he's easily wounded and a bit tetchy when it comes to past offenses. Still, he managed to set some low expectations for that first mission with the Saints. I'm a creature of habit, of structure, which doesn't fit well with the Saints' MO. They have their way of doing things, and at times, I have no idea what they're thinking, or of their infatuation with those god-awful freckled bitches' hamburgers. But, when it comes down to it, they get things done. That's impressive, and I'm not easily impressed.
I built, I watched, and then I acted. That's how I brought the Vice Kings up to be one of the strongest crews in Stillwater. Only problem was my lieutenants didn't have the same patience. That bitch Tanya drove a wedge between Tony and Warren. Then she convinced Warren to try and take me out, only to stab him in the back and take it all for herself. I may have lost the Vice Kings, but killing her almost made it worth the trouble. Good thing the player was there to help. After the fall of the Vice Kings, I figured it was time to get out of the game. Living the life I had, I didn't want all that experience to go to waste. Figured a book would allow me to work out my demons and show the world what the game took from me. Didn't know it'd take off so well. Shit, if I had known back then what I do now, probably would have gone legit sooner. I always knew the Saints were ambitious, but I never thought I'd see them end up in the White House. And when the player called me saying how they couldn't do it without me, how could I say no? Thought maybe I was in line for vice president, but I guess Keith beat me to it. Still, being the president's chief of staff certainly had its perks. Not bad for a kid from Sunnyvale Gardens.
When I first signed on to head the Stag Initiative, I figured it would be a cushy job. After all, pitting a military organization against common street thugs seemed like a one-sided battle. The Saints changed that perspective quickly. Monica Hughes had no idea what she was sending me into. I'll never regret that night I had with Kia. She opened my eyes to things I'd only seen in Guam. What did she call it? The helicopter. There's no way they teach that in basic training.
I gotta admit, I didn't think much of the boss when they first joined the crew. I thought there was no way they were gonna make it through being canonized, let alone be any help taking over Stillwater. Hell, they didn't even talk back then. But after that shit with the Vice Kings, I knew we found ourselves one hell of a saint. There's nothing the boss can't do. Things ain't ever been easy for the Saints. First, we lost Lynn to the Rollers back in Stillwater. And then Julius tried blowing up the boss and the Saints fell apart. And after getting the crew back together, the Brotherhood had Carlos killed and... Aisha. Well, I lost her to the Ronin. And then fucking Philippe Loren tried taking me out, only to have Zinyak come in and snatch me from the Saints anyway. Like I said, shit's always been rough. Aisha's death, it hit me really hard. I thought I'd made peace with it, but Zinyak's fucking simulated hell took its toll. You know, I know the whole point was that I'd never be able to save her, but that shit would never stop me from trying. The boss didn't show up to help. I don't know how much longer I could have kept it together.
When the Vice Kings stopped being about protecting Sunnyvale, I knew it was time to get out of the game. I was hoping that Benjamin could keep the city locked down, but years passed, and it ended up being the same old shit. Only this time, the victims were the people in Saints Row. I thought the Vice Kings was a cautionary tale that I learned something from. That if I built a new street gang, I could control it. Not make the same mistakes King did. I was so fucking naive. I knew early on what it was I let loose on Stillwater. The Playa was reckless and uncaring. Left a wake of bodies pointing right back at us. Think more of the city was destroyed than saved in the end. Sure, the Saints were taken over, but at what cost? I couldn't risk letting a sociopath run things. So I did what I had to do. Never thought the bastard would survive the explosion. I don't regret much. You make your choices, you live with them. But if I could take anything back, it would be the way things ended up with Angela. It was all fun and games for her. She wanted to be just like Benjamin. I shouldn't have let her get in so deep.
Okay, I'm going to say this again. Why did we work with Matt Miller? Did everyone forget what he did to me back before I joined the Saints? I mean, come
on? He set me up to be fired from the FBI and got all my ideas completely discredited just because they think I'm into kink? The truth of that aside, he ruined my life and now he's a good guy? This just isn't fair. First, I told the FBI. Then I told the Saints. Then I told the President and the entire Secret Service, and still they wouldn't listen. Now here we are, abducted by aliens and trapped in technology far beyond what we had on Earth. You know, if I'd only got the budget for my planetary defense system, we wouldn't be stuck up here dealing with the Zin. I mean, it would only have cost $3.1 billion. Hey, I tried to warn the military, but they didn't want to listen to the press secretary. Oleg is one of the best things that ever happened to me, and right now it feels like the worst. I'm up here trying to save us from captivity and psychological torture, and all I can think about is him. He's the only one who ever truly understood what I was saying. I never thought I'd meet someone with an intelligence nearly matching my own who made me feel like I wasn't constantly missing something in my life. Now I am. Now I miss him.
When I heard the Saints were back in Stillwater, I figured it couldn't hurt to have a little more muscle on the Brotherhood side. 2080 was a fair split for a bunch of has-beens from the row. After all, we were the strongest crew in the city. What do we have to fear from them? If their leader wasn't such a greedy asshole, maybe things wouldn't have escalated like they did. After what the Saints did to my face, they had to expect a little payback. Carlos was an easy target and hurt their boss the most. But Jessica? That was going too far. Then Vogel rips off my shipment after letting my crew get killed. I wasn't about to let the Brotherhood go down because of some prick in a suit. I thought I had that Saint dead to rights. I mean, they couldn't kill me in my own home. What chance did they have to survive my trap? I had the perfect setup. Even used the truck that killed Jessica for a little poetic justice. But it didn't matter. I lost. Fucking Saints.
I'd say it's a tough world for someone to live in, but I'd be lying. Well, if they were the god of the cyber world like I was, that is. Put me in front of the latest technology and there wasn't anything I couldn't do. Even the FBI couldn't stop me. And believe me, they tried. Kinsey Kensington came close, but a few additions to her file and some photos, and even she couldn't come close to crashing my fun. Probably why I was recruited into the Syndicate in the first place. Working for the Syndicate was a great job. That is until Philippe Loren died, because Kilbane was one scary psychopath. I mean, I watched him kill Kiki right in front of me, and right in front of her own sister. So I went after the Saints instead. Wrong choice on my part, but they let me live. And surprisingly, so did Kilbane. Only option then was to leave the country and hide. How was I supposed to know that MI6 would end up offering me asylum just so they could pair me up with one of their operatives? I mean, Nasha and I got along great, but now I had to work with the government instead of against it. Not usually my cup of tea. Still, I guess it's better than being hunted down by the Saints or Kilbane. I just have to keep myself from pissing off a trained killer is all.
Shondi and I had a relationship. I came up with all the ideas. She got all the credit. Never seemed fair. I guess it worked out in the end, though. With me being an international celebrity and all. Shondi and I had a relationship. I came up with all the ideas. She got all the credit. The boss was a lot more hardcore back in the day. Managed to pull the Saints back from the grave. Didn't take any shit from anyone. Especially the Brotherhood, the Ronin, or the Sons of Samdi. Hell, anyone that got in the way lost everything they had. Not just their life. Still, it's too bad what happened to Carlos, though. He was a good kid. Okay, maybe it didn't all work out the way I planned. You know, Shondi got a TV show, and every guy in the world wanted her. I was doing commercials and barely getting my music off the ground. But still, now I'm the Deputy Chief of Staff of the President of the United States, so that's gotta count for something. Though, I don't think the approval ratings are gonna much matter anymore.
The moment I walked into that underground shithole the crew was setting up in, I knew it all had potential. So the Saints had been out of the game a while. So what? We had the boss and we had Johnny Gat. What more did we need? I knew I was a little rough around the edges, but I was willing to learn. Then the boss goes and throws me the Sons of Samedi. Now that was a drag. I should have known dating that asshole was gonna end badly. Veteran child. What kind of name is that anyway? Sure, he had hookups for some of the best drugs in Stillwater, but that's no excuse. And he comes and tries to kill me? Whatever. He didn't have a chance against the boss. I tried to warn him, but he never listened to me. Only the boss really did. Damn, we had some good parties after all that. Then again, I knew how to have a good time. A little Loa dust, some beer bongs, some hacky sack, and bam! Instant party. We all needed the distraction after taking over Ultor. And distractions are what I do best. I mean, what did any of us know about running a multi-billion-dollar company after all? Though a few hits off the light bulb later, we didn't really care.
It's amazing looking back on how I used to be. Constantly baked out of my mind, always looking for the next party. You'd think after I got my own dating show I would have been even more of a train wreck, but doing TV is hard work. Who has time to go smoke up when they have to be on set at 6 a.m.? Ever since that night on Loren's plane, things haven't been the same. I used to be fun and carefree. I used to smile and laugh. Now I just want everyone to pay for what the Syndicate did. Johnny didn't deserve to die like that. He was the toughest person I knew. And it's my fault. I should have gone back for him. The boss kept the crew together when we landed in Steelport. First we took out that asshole Philippe and then Kilbane for what he did to Johnny's funeral. Stag was just icing on the cake, really. I thought I'd be happy with revenge, but it was never the same. Even when the boss won the election and we moved to the White House, I couldn't stop thinking about what Johnny would say about it all.
Putting me in charge of the brothels was the best idea King ever had. There's no way anyone else in Stillwater would have been able to control the girls the way I did. It brought in the money, it brought in the clients, and it would have been the backbone of the Vice Kings if Gat and all the Saints hadn't ruined it all. King never had the control he thought he did over the Vice Kings. It was all me and Warren keeping things running. Well, mostly me. Warren's ego got just as big as Benjamin's in the end. He thought the two of us would rule the city. Guess he didn't know me like he thought he did. Warren, Tony, Alderman Hughes, I had them all wrapped around my finger. They would have died for me. Come to think of it, I guess they did.
I'm not the first actor to move into politics, but I'm one of the better ones. Theater, film, television, animation, commercials. Shit, I've even done video games. Though video games aren't exactly renowned for their storytelling. Still, I'd conquered acting. By the time I got the call from the Saints, I was ready for something new. How did I go from award-winning actor to Vice President of the United States? Hell if I know. But when the head of the Saints calls you up and makes you an offer, well, it's something you consider. I liked the idea of being a statesman, having my name in the history books. It's a hell of a dream. Plus, I look good in a suit. I'd look even better on money. Zinyak kicked the stool out from under my political aspiration when he and his armada showed up. One of the worst things you can do is piss off America. Now, I don't necessarily agree with how the president is handling these things. Seems there must be a better way. I'm not saying I'd do better, but shit, maybe that's exactly what I'm saying. If I had the chance, anyway.
Nope, you didn't do any better. Alright, let's do some some text adventures. Our story begins in the remote village of Zinshire, a hamlet just west of Zinport, in the country of Zinland, on the planet known only as Zin. By nature, the Zin people are an uncultured and slow-witted lot, easily entertained by such diversions as arm wrestling and counting the spots on one's back. The people of Zinshire most especially fit this description, so I'm sure you can already foresee the struggles I endured in life. First of those struggles were my parents. My father, a simple butcher, was a small man with a fierce temper. Of all the things I learned from my father, the one that sticks with me the most has to be lust for power. My father, though as thick as The back hair on a newly born Zinfant did indeed have an unquenchable hunger for control. While he never managed to rise higher than the head of a simple village council, he nonetheless carried the dream. My mother, on the other hand, a gifted seamstress who married far below her station, wanted me to enjoy the things so many others could not. I remember clearly on the eve of my 13th birthday, her taking me to... Yeah, we'll do the traveling show. I like if I choose them wrong. Okay. How about the pastry shop? One might think such a place as Zinshire would not support a fine bakery, and you would be right. It closed after a year, but it was not for lack on trying on my mother's part. She wished for her only child to have an appreciation for the finer offerings of life, and she began my education with Zinkar's delectable pastries. Not only did I sample the goods at Zinkar's shop, but I spent a summer there sweeping the floor, tending the counter, and even learning a bit of culinary arts. I took to baking with zeal. Clients enjoyed my baked goods, and I became known throughout Zinshire for my eclairs. Nope. How about cream puffs? I could still feel the layers of crisp dough flaking gently on my tongue, awash in a smooth release of scrumptious cream. Even though Zinkar's endeavor was not long for this world, I continued to sell my renowned cream puffs door to door, a business which thrived, I must say, doing well enough to supplement my admission to the most prestigious private school in Zinland. But that, my friend, is another story. I'd acquired the money to attend the finest school in Zinland, but that was just the beginning. While I would love to say Zinkov Preparatory Academy embraced me with open arms, the truth of the matter is, I was not the finest student. In order to gain admission, I had to endure rigorous physical and academic testing before they would grant me access to the legendary halls of learning. As is usual for admission to a school of such acclaim, the first of these tests was killing my own parents. My word, what sort of barbaric school did you attend? How about an aptitude exam? As was my mother's wish, Zinkov Prep was an institution that prided itself on its scholastic offerings. To that end, it only accepted candidates that displayed academic prowess and further promise. So it was that I endured many weeks of standardized testing and training prior to my entrance examination. Proud to say that I took the studies well and managed to bring up my scores across the board. So there was one subject above all others that I had a particular affinity for. As you may have already guessed, that was literature. The written word. I had, like most Zen, learned to read while in utero, but that was all very dry text such as manuals and design documents. It wasn't until this far more serious pursuit in academia that I came to love the classics. How surprised was I that some of the finest literature in the universe came from a tiny watery planet more than 10 million light years away. While it would be some time until I visited that unseemingly unremarkable away station, I'd fallen in love with its artistic offerings already. One author's work in particular captured my imagination. Jane Austen. Jane. Sweet, sweet Jane. How like my mother's dreams you are, even now, all these years later. Just the thought of Emma, Eleanor, and Elizabeth's exploits and romantic missteps brings a lump to my throat. Oh, the intoxicating back and forth between Miss Bennet and Mr. Darcy. How I could read those lines towards infinity. It was my celebrated essay on Jane Austen's body of work that caught the attention of the Zinkov Administrations Board, who not only allowed me entry into their fine institution, but secured my later position as head of the English Language Appreciators Society. Thus was my love of literature cemented and access to Zinkov Preparatory Academy assured, which is where I met the teacher who would help me find my life's true purpose. I clearly recall my first tentative steps into Zinkov Preparatory Academy. I was a lad from the countryside coming into the big city, eyes wide and mind eager. I had never seen such a building so large or so many finely dressed young people yearning for knowledge. It was the first time in my life that I'd ever felt I was somewhere I truly belonged. Of course, not all of the Zinglings there were courteous, studious-minded folks. Predictably, it wasn't long before I crossed paths with a brutish young man named Zinfax. We instantly loathed each other. It was obvious from the start that Zinfax took umbrage with my probably lower-class upbringing. Typical, no. I was now entering the proud and prejudice-filled society I had read about so eagerly just a few months prior. While Zinfax was a bore and a constant thorn in my side, I found solace in my studies. Literature had engaged me early on, but the offerings of Zinkov Prep allowed me to expand into even higher-minded subjects, such as intergalactic warfare and how to exploit diplomacy for personal gain. What a world of knowledge there was to explore. More than any of the Zinkov faculty, Professor Zinlo informed my later days. I remember clearly, it was just 2 weeks into my first year when Zinlo pulled me aside after class and said to me, Zinyak, never let anything or anyone stop you from pursuing your dreams. Has anyone ever told you that before? What a remarkable thing to say to a formative lad. And he was right. I, as the poor son of an ignorant butcher, had made it to the finest university on the planet. I wasn't just pursuing my dreams, I was living one. Those words kept me strong through 4 years of demanding study, kept my mind clear from physical distraction, and are to thank for my graduating with honors from Zinkov Preparatory, a first for anyone from the hamlet of Zinshire. On receiving my diploma, I knew exactly what I must do. Kill Zinfax and then enter military service. Order of operation, don't you know? Yes, I admit I let my personal dislike for that heinous bully overcome me, and I stabbed Zinfax's neck like old bark flaking off of a dying oak. My time at Zinkov Preparatory now at an end, I entered yet another phase of my life, one that would take me to a great many exotic locations, and allow me to realize, finally, my true potential. Thus ends my years as a plucky child. The next time we meet, I shall regale you with the tale of Zinyak, the young man. After my time at Zinkov Preparatory Academy, I did what all young people on Zin must do. I entered the military. Prior to my days at Zinkov, I admit I did not look forward to the rite of passage, but after, I relished the idea of honing myself into the specimen I would later become. Basic training was, as it was designed to be, a particular sort of hell. I don't know what the rules are where you come from, reader, but military training for the Zin army consists of a grueling 8-week course that pushes recruits to the breaking point. Some did not survive the training and were sent off to work in the mines, or forced to join the Zin National Orchestra, famous across 7 galaxies for how hideous their music is. In order to endure the training, I often relied upon Iron Will? Manufactured hatred of the enemy. Wise men once said, without a target, we are all just bullets in the wind. I wrote that in my journal last week, and it's true. Whenever you find yourself facing a seemingly insurmountable challenge, it helps to envision all the turncoats, opportunists, and megalomaniacs that are just waiting for you to fail, so that they can swoop down and pick the meat from your bones. With a furnace of pure hatred burning inside me, nothing would stop me from overtaking any challenge set before me. It was evident in the later days of my training that I was going to excel at conquering worlds. It was evident even that I had conqueror's blood coursing through my veins. I took to every task with gusto, never accepting anything but the best from myself and all those around me. I had vision, I had drive, I had everything needed to seize the universe by the nebulas and make it mine. After basic, I entered service and was sent to the front line of the great war that was brewing on planet Bedard. There I led the charge against the great Bedardian commander Franscott. Using my innately keen insight, I surprised Franscott by... Nobody deserves that. Sneaking into his base under the cover of darkness. While it may sound like a simple tactic, you should be aware that the average day on planet Bedard lasts an excruciatingly long time. But I and my charge held our position until the perfect moment to strike. We infiltrated Franscott's compound, trampled his men under our mighty boots, and shattered the door to his bedchambers, wherein I pounced upon the fool and smothered him with his own pillow. Even now, looking back, I can't help but smile. From there I led my charge after numerous enemies of the Zen Empire. Soon the entire Bedardian army fell before us, and we had yet another notch on our already impressively carved belts. A magnificent victory under my belt, my military superiors saw fit to bestow upon me a meritorious service in the glory of the Almighty Zin commendation and my first of many promotions. Recognition breeds contempt though, and I made enemies throughout my military career, but perhaps none more scathing, more heartbreaking than Zinfob, the Brutus to my Caesar. Zinfob served with me well against the Bedarian army, but his pride got the best of him when he questioned my authority. Questioning my readiness to command, citing my unquenchable bloodlust, cold and calculating demeanor, lack of conscience, all the things that were held in such high regard during training. Zinfob dared to suggest that I was unfit for high-level command. I was brought before my superiors in a mock tribunal. It was simply to satiate Zinfob's whim, I assure you, where I was called upon to defend myself against these allegations. Complying with the tenets of the charade, I took my seat as a defendant. As clear as the stained cries of a fallen foe, the charges were leveled against me. Against each one, I remained silent. I stayed quiet for no one. How about explain myself? Admittedly, I may have used some coarse language as emphasis to underline my points, but I conducted myself as one ought during any legal proceeding. After carefully explaining myself to the council, they saw my point of view and dismissed Zinfob's case against me. Afterwards, I hunted my accuser down and killed him where he stood. That nastiness behind me, I not only continued to fulfill my role within the Zen army, but I excelled at it. After many more successful terrestrial campaigns against our foes, the officials saw fit to promote me to Emperor? No. Probably my own ship. Indeed, no longer was I a simple passenger on our interplanetary death vessels. I now had my hand firm upon the rudder, metaphorically speaking, of course. Interplanetary death vessels are steered by complicated navigation systems. Now a celebrated member of the Zen army, with a seasoned crew at my command, I headed out toward adventure. It was time to leave terra firma behind me and venture toward the stars. After forcibly convincing my crew to celebrate my newly appointed position with a soiree in my honor, we lifted anchor and spread our sails, again metaphorically speaking, towards destination just ripe for the picking. And that, dear reader, is where my tale gets most exciting. And we're going to continue this, but in the next episode, because we're going to do these three, and then we will do, we'll go and finish off Zinyak ourselves. So, I'll see you guys in the next episode. See you then.